Okay guys, last video for tonight. So the strike event on Saturday, the 3-step epic strike event has been leaked. Well, at least the final stage got leaked. It is Gorgosaurus, Irritator plus Rex. So it's 3 dinos, all at high levels. The Gorgosaurus is level 19, Rex is level 20, and Irritator, I guess, it's 21. Not I guess, I know it's level 21. Unless they make any changes from now to then, but they probably won't. Let's go over this. This might look a bit intimidating at first. You know, you're fighting 3 dinos, all super high levels, and they all deal a lot of damage and have a decent amount of HP. It shouldn't be that hard. So let's talk. Since we don't know the order of them coming out, let's talk about them one by one. So let's start with Gorgosaurus. So it's level 19. So at level 19, it has 2,988 HP, 1,140 damage, and of course it has 102 speed, 20% crit chance, defense shattering impact, ferocious strike, and defense shattering strike. So what Gorgosaurus is probably going to do is going to ferocious strike into defense shattering impact, and that's going to do a lot of damage. So our goal here is to not let Gorgosaurus do the combo, the ferocious strike, defense shattering impact combo. So here's our plan. A really good dino to prevent it from doing that is Iniasuchus. Although your Iniasuchus needs to be at level, I think 14 is the lowest for this to work, just in case it crits on the ferocious strike. You know, if it doesn't crit, a few levels down lower should work as well, but just in case it crits on the ferocious strike. So you need a Iniasuchus. And you just do your, standard Iniasuchus stuff. I'm just going to give you some stats at level 15. Level 15 has 2,263 HP. It also has a 25 or a 20% armor. So let's say Gorgosaurus hits us with a 1,140 base damage times 1.5 ferocious strike. That's 1,710 damage, but you also have to times it by 1.5 just in case it crits, since it has a really high chance of critting. That's going to do 2,565 raw damage, but you have some armor, so let's times that by 0.8. So it's going to do 2,052 damage to your Iniasuchus, assuming it uses ferocious strike first. And that's not going to take your Iniasuchus out at level 15. So that's a good thing, because then you could use Ferocious Strike, and then since you're faster, next turn you could use Greater Stunning Impact, and this stun has to land. I mean, if it doesn't land, it's not that big a deal. You can use your next dino to come out and deal some damage to Gorgosaurus, and it should be dead. But it would be nice if you could throw on have the Greater Stunning Impact land. Then you'll just deal with what's his face, Gorgosaurus. That's gonna take out Gorgosaurus. And next, let's talk about Rex. So Rex is the one that deals the most damage. It's at level 20, has 3,248 HP, 1,346 damage, with these, standard Defense Shattering Strike, Defense Shattering Rampage, Defense Shattering Impact. But looking at its speed, it has 102 speed, 30% crit, though, and that's going to do a lot of damage. But at 102 speed, that gives us an opportunity to use a lot of dinos to outspeed it. And one of those dinos is actually Rex Gen 2. So Rex Gen 2 is, I believe, let me see here, 104 speed. So at 104 speed, and at level 15 has 994 damage. So let's see, 994 damage times 1.5 plus 994 times 2 equals, it's going to do 3,479 damage, assuming no crit. So that 2 shots the Rex. And that's, that's good for us, for what we need to do. And that should take care of the Rex pretty easily. Let me see if it survives an impact, because that's kind of important. Times 1.5, 2,000, and 2019 damage. Okay, it survives an impact, but the problem is it actually doesn't survive a crit on the impact, which is a bit problematic, but remember your Ionisukis, which shouldn't die against the Gorgosaurus. If that's alive, that you could deal another ferocious boosted strike onto the Rex. Wait, actually, no, it's not ferocious boost. You still have another turn of damage on the Rex, so that's gonna bring down its HP a bit, and then you would come in with Rex Gen 2, go for the impact, do a lot of damage, and then if it's still not dead, and you could throw in another Dino and deal whatever amounts of damage, and by then it should be dead. And let's talk about the last Dino, Irritator. Irritator, you could just bleed this one. Like actually for both Rex and Irritator, you could both bleed these two. But do remember, if you're bleeding, your last Dino has to survive when their Dino dies. So for example, if you already have 2 Dinos down and then you're onto the last fight and you two are fighting and you bleed them and then they take you out, but then your bleed kills them as well, so it's 3-3. It's a tie. But in strike events, ties count as a loss. So although it's a tie, you're still going to lose and not get the incubator. So that's kind of sad. So it's best not to use a bleeder for their last Dino. So if you do have Ionisukis or Rex Gen 2, you could bring them and save them for the last Dino. And I'm just gonna like all 3 of these Dinos you can bleed, but I'm just gonna give you alternatives that you can use to take at least one of them, at least the last one out without them dying. So that's how to take out Rex. You could use Rex Gen 2. And Irritator, you could use Stegoceratops, slow, stun, and if you don't have Stegoceratops, you could use, let's say, Delta Drake Rex Gen 2 combo. You pounce Irritator, Irritator's not going to kill you one-shot, impact and run into Drake Gen 2, that's going to deal massive amounts of damage, and that takes out Irritator. So those are the ways to beat them without bleed, and obviously you can bleed them, which you probably should at least bleed one of them if you're not going to bleed 2 of them. So some decent bleeders, Sucatator, obviously lethal wound, and then you get instant distraction, but do be careful of Irritator and Gorgosaurus, because Gorgosaurus has Ferocious Strike, so that instead of the 90% damage reduction, it turns into a, let's see, 40% damage reduction, because they both have Ferocious. Well, Gorgosaurus has Ferocious and Irritator has Ready to Crush, so if they use Ready to Crush beforehand on the turn before, they do have a 50% buff on their next impact, and their next impact also has a 50 or 50 something 55% chance to crit as well. So if it hits through your your instant traction, that's going to do a lot of damage. So other than Sucatator, obviously you have Spino Gen 2. Like, the good thing about this strike is all your bleeders outspeed their dinos, and you can also use the flyers, Dimodactylus, Darwin. Those are lethal wounders, and then you can also, no, I don't think Darwin's a lethal. I think Darwin's swoop. Darwin, you could swoop into like a swap and bleed, like Suchomimus or Dimorphodon. That will do a lot of bleed damage as well. Obviously you have the swap in wounds, which deal 25% per turn for 2 turns. So that's Dimorphodon and Suchomimus, and I want to say Dimodactylus is the other one. So those are all good bleeders. Obviously, I was about to say Sucatator again. Spinotasuchus is another one. Gashing Wound, I'm not sure if it's enough to seal the deal, since they all hit quite hard, and Gashing Wound isn't a guaranteed kill, and the dinos with Gashing Wound do have a bit lower HP, so I'm not sure if they could survive one hit or at least a crit hit at lower levels. So those might be a bit iffy, at least with Lethal Wound. Even if you're dying to a move, they're guaranteed to die in 2 more turns. And obviously you got some other better dinos if you have legendaries. Diloranosaurus completely destroys this event. Udasino destroys this event, and well, actually no. If it gets crit by Ferocious on Gorgosaurus, that might be troublesome for them, but just dinos with Distract and dinos with Stun. These dinos are really good against this event. Obviously, Bleed is good. Bleed, Distract, Stun, these all help a lot. Shields and Armor don't help at all. Well, I guess they kind of help against Gorgosaurus' Ferocious Strike. That's why we use Iniasuchus at first against it, so it doesn't get one-shot by the Ferocious, but other than that, there's it's a pretty hard event. I mean, I guess raw damage could beat it too. Try Astronix if you Ferocious, then Fairy Shining Rampage, Gorgosuchus, Postometrodon, those really high damage dinos. Megalosuchus probably can do really well against it as well. It has super high turn 2 damage. So those are all options. And yes, I know this video is out a bit early. The strike is on Saturday, and I'm putting this out on Thursday morning, but I just want to inform you guys ahead of time, and hopefully this helps. And good luck on the strike, which is still 2 days away, or 2 days away. But anyways, that's it for this video. Hopefully you guys should beat this no problem. It's not the hardest event, but it might be quite difficult. Remember, it is a 3-step, so there's 2 more steps before that, but the 2 more steps before that shouldn't be as hard as the last step, so those 2 steps, you could probably use the same strat and still do well against it. I mean, the only issue I see with it is probably if they have Caprasuchus, the Cleansing, Bleed probably won't work too well, but other than that, you guys should be fine with this strat. And if you thought it was useful, I'd appreciate a like. That would be nice. And if you're new, please considering subscribing. That would help the channel a lot. I think I'm not sure if we're at 2.5k yet. Let me check. But last I checked it, we were pretty close to 2.5k subs. That's really good. 2,498 subs. We just need 2 more. It's just 2 more, guys. Anyways, I'll see you guys in the next video, which will be coming up while I'm sleeping, so that should be fun.